Hey yo guys, time for another edition of Down in the Squared Circle with Dadirrtywhyteboi. Excuse me there. The weekly news segment. We got a big set of news this week. A lot of stuff went down. Tonight is the Raw 15th anniversary 3-hour epic, so make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be one hell of a show. And before we start, I want some video responses. What are your guys' favorite Raw moments? Before I get into the news, what's your favorite Raw moment? There's so many, from DX invading WCW, the Milkman comic, Austin and McMahon stuff, come on, anything you want. I'll tell you one of my favorite moments. It's very underrated. When Vince McMahon let ECW, the original ECW, be on Raw when they went back to the Manhattan Center. That was one of my favorite stuff. It introduced me to ECW, and it was in those times they had the Turn of the Road Warriors against the Headbangers in a really decent match. So that's one of my favorite moments. And you know, the Milkman comment's one of my faves. And when Vader bombed Gorilla Monsoon, one of my faves. Vader was one of my favorite heels back in WCW when he came in. I like how he made his big impact that way. Built very nicely. But anyways, what are your favorite Raw moments? Hit me with some responses. Anyways, the news. A lot of stuff. It was reported that Sting and TNA have agreed on new terms, and he'll be staying with the company through 2008, and he'll be working a lighter schedule, and he won't have to be on TV all the time. I find that to be actually really good because, you know, I think the fact that his contract we had to show up every week pretty much, it kind of killed the demonic of Sting, because he would come on and cut a promo and do the same old stuff. Well, Sting was successful with the Crow gimmick in WCW because he didn't talk and he wasn't there that often, so this will be good. I like this contract. You know, maybe, I don't know. I like how he's going to be back there. I mean, it's not that bad unless if they overkill him like they've been doing before. Like I hope he's not going to be on every pay-per-view. Hopefully he's going to be on like the big 4 they have. So, yeah. And then, as I just stated, tonight's the 15th anniversary of Raw, which will be on at 8 o'clock on the East Coast. And you're going to see so many people from Bridgeport, Connecticut that are. So you're going to see the Hulkster, Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Mick Foley, Eric Bischoff, Sunny returns, Trish Stratus returns, Lita, Jeff Hardy, Jim Neidhart, Gangrel, and Mae Young. I find Gangrel to be a weird one since I heard he did sign with TNA. But anyways, you will see in a ladder match Jeff Hardy versus Carlito for the Intercontinental title. Find out weird Carlito's in this match, considering he got jobbed to Hornswoggle in matches and been by him in segments Looney Tunes style. And a 15-man battle royal with stars from the past, bitches. Psycho Sid will be in one of those, and the reunion of Evolution. So if you're a fan of those guys, I really don't care about Evolution, to be as a matter of fact, but if you're a fan of that, good, make sure to tune in. And certain people were asked, such as Bret Hart, The Rock, and Paul Bearer, and they said that they will not be there. And apparently this whole 15th anniversary show was written all about Bret Hart, so that's a bit of a interesting side note there. Now, more WWE news is the fact that the SmackDown and ECW talent were also involved in a terrible, almost a terrible plane accident after their show in Frankfurt, Germany. The flight was preparing to land when another plane crashed in front of them, but the pilot was able to land and avoid potential tragedy, and the crew worked in Zurich, Switzerland. That's very sad. So, a very scary incident, and it could have been a horrible tragedy for the wrestling business, losing the whole SmackDown ECW roster. That would have been terrible, but fortunately, the Lord prevailed, and we all have the SmackDown ECW crews. Carlito has re-signed with the WWE. He'll be remaining, and I guess cooler heads prevailed. Word on the street is that Vince and him talked down, and they negotiated it. Vince was more feeling that go to TNA. I really don't see him going to TNA. I see him going to more WWC, where the promotion in Puerto Rico, which his father runs. The WWE and USA have announced a 2-year contract extension, so this means that you'll see WWE on Mondays on the USA Network for up until 2010. And with this deal is the fact that NBC is now guaranteed 2 specials a year. So, yeah, I find that weird since NBC wasn't getting very good ratings for their Saturday Night Main Event specials, and, you know, now they're going to get that. And WWE and Columbia have records are set to release a CD after their new partnership, which is called Raw Greatest Hits, coming out tomorrow, and you're going to get such songs as Vince McMahon, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Austin, The Rock, and Evolution. Former WWE Daniel Puder. He'll be performing in the Nutcracker Play in San Jose, California, and I guarantee people will be busting his nuts about doing that. Two more pieces of news here. TNA, they canceled their shows in Mexico last week, but they've made up for it with two shows in Oklahoma. So if you live in Oklahoma and want to check them out, go. They're in January 12th in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, and the 25th of January in Troy, Oklahoma. So if you're living in Oklahoma or around Oklahoma, be sure to come check them out. And finally, some indie news. The Ontario-based UWA wrestling promotion announced today that they'll be returning in January after finding a new venue at Downsview Park in North York, Ontario. The promotion was previously not running shows in St. John's Hall in Mississauga, but they had to stop because of the zoning laws. And finally, Ring of has now released a deal where you'll get Ring of Honor DVDs in April of '08 in retail stores, and the DVDs will be called Bloodstained and Honor, which is more of their hardcore stuff, and Star of Honor, which is their pure wrestling stuff, which features great matches with new commentary, which is great, and they're gonna be cheap. So anyways, that's it for the news. I'm out. Peace.